Hey, YouTube. Well, I thought I'd come on here today and talk about HIV. Is my mouth moving right with the camera? Looks like it's not moving. Computer's not moving right. Anyway, so I want to talk about HIV for a minute. All right, as I've told you guys many times. I mean, I don't start the conversation about HIV, but there's a couple people that irritate me, so I come on every once in a while to argue with them about it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the truth. A lot of people they don't want to tell you about the real status of HIV because I think the main reason is they don't want to encourage anyone to think that okay, it's safe to have sex now and HIV is not dangerous. They don't want to encourage you, so people feel like they don't want you romancing. Uh, uh, they don't want to give you the impression that HIV is over or that it is a manageable disease right now. But the truth of the matter is, it is a manageable disease now. I've been HIV positive for 30 years. 30 years. So that means most of that time, I was living in fear of dying, knowing that it could go wrong at any moment. Most of that time, I was a dope fiend, so I was in the streets. You don't really care when you're high. You don't really care about anything, but a good part of my time was spent behind bars, so there was plenty of time for thinking about it, worrying about it, and there would be all of these through the years. There have been at first there were all of these stories will come on the news. It would say, "No, they got monkey blood, the gorilla blood, or something like that. They can transpose the monkey blood in your blood, and that would fall through or the person who was testing it. And God bless those people who were doing all of these tests. These what do you call them? Anyway, God bless them because they did eventually find drugs that worked. So, about 1990, I'm gonna say 2002, I was in San Quentin. And I heard about this new drug, right? Now then, I was still getting kind of healthy because every time I went to jail, I was taking the medication that they had at that time. The medications weren't very effective, but I was not getting high. I was sleeping. I was seeing a doctor and stuff like that. So I would come out of prison pretty healthy every year. But every time I got out, the people on the streets they were moving along in the disease. So most of those people that were doing dope the time when I was doing it, most of them I passed on. Particularly the ones who weren't going to jail, people who weren't selling drugs, just doing it, living a rough life, because there were no real drugs around. Okay, so I don't forget what year it was, but well, about 15 years ago, I was in San Quentin, and people were hollering out the window, "You see the paper today? You see the paper today?" They're all excited and shit. I wasn't all that excited because I had been through it so many times when they announced all these cures. So in San Quentin, they had a place for reception where you sit and wait until they found a spot for you, which where all the HIV people were housed. It was a hospital. We weren't sick, but we were separated from the regular population. And all our windows faced the courtyard, and so people were yelling out that they had found these new drugs. This is a drug cocktail. Anyway, they wouldn't put me on the drugs because I was a known drug addict. I came in and out like it was my house. The doctors were aware of that. Same doctors were always there every time I came in and out. I came to San Quentin 10 times in 10 years. So every year I was back. So the doctors didn't recommend the drugs for me, and they wouldn't approve me to have them because at that time they didn't know what the effect of going in and out, starting and stopping would be. They felt like if you start and stop the drug, and I forget the name of the first ones, but one was Crixavan, I think was the name of it. Anyway, starting and stopping the drug, you could build immunity to the drugs, right? And so I was not a good candidate. And plus, you couldn't miss doses. You had to be consistent. And the way I lived on the streets on crystal meth, I couldn't even remember, shave my face. So, but anyway, so the drugs came out. I would go in and out. But I did start to think if something terrible happened to me on the streets, something terrible happened to me on the streets. I got robbed. I got hurt. And I think that's when I don't think, I know. That's when my eyes were kind of opened. And I started thinking about the possibility of getting out of the drug game. Now, these new drugs added a new element, because now people are talking about you could actually live on these drugs. They were saying at the time that you can get 5 extra years out of this drug, taking this drug. But I was getting on the street and I was seeing people who I knew were damn near dead when I went in. When I got out, they were walking around like normal people. So there was some hope there. It was a seed of hope. Because for now, you have to remember now, for many, many years, 15 years or so, 15, 16 years, I was living with the idea that I was going to die soon. I didn't die soon, and it's still a mystery to me why some people died very early. My partner died. It took him about 2.5 years. People were dying 2.5, 3 years. So a lot of us weren't dying. So I don't know if it was a different strain. It's never been really explained to me, because the drugs that we were taking, which I wasn't taking consistently, were not having that great results. But I was around long enough to start these drugs anyway. So after I got robbed and hurt, started thinking about getting clean. Started going to church in the prison there. First time there was some hope, but it still wasn't much hope, because they was just saying this could extend your life 5 years. So I didn't know how close I was to death. I know I lived a rough life, a hard life. I know I had not been consistent with any of the medications, and frankly, I just didn't think I could take pills. You got to take them like 3 times a day, and you couldn't miss any doses at all. I had no confidence that I could do that, because I had never done it before. I'd never been consistent with anything, even the basic type things. Being a dope fiend, all you do is, chase dope, and re-up, or get more dope just to keep you going, kind of thing, until they bust you and throw you back in jail. Anyway, so when I started making my plan to get out of jail, I got to learn how to talk faster. I don't want to be talking forever. Y'all get bored with me. Okay, so I can go in a few more minutes. So I went to drug program. They had nurses there, of course, whatever, and they got us on the medication. So I had a couple of relapses, but basically it was over at that point. So when I got out with the idea that if I got clean, I could live. Stop doing the dope. For me, I was delivered from dope. The idea of getting high no longer meant anything to me, where before is what I lived for. So I got out. You can live 5 or 6 more years. We never thought past 5 years, really, because everyone we knew at that time, everyone I knew in the 80s, after they said they were HIV positive, it was only a short time after that. Now here I was in overtime for 10 years. So, but make a long story short, the drugs working, they kept coming out with more and more drugs. So I would say the current state of HIV is a manageable disease. Now, I'm a facilitator at a, I don't want to give up all, I can't break confidentiality, so I'll just say I facilitate groups with HIV people, long-term survivors like myself. And a lot of the guys are older than me even. I'm 59, so a lot of them are in their 60s, 70s. That's a full lifespan. Bible says 72, 80 and 10 or something like that. Anyway, all of the guys, it's not HIV. No, and these guys are 60, 70, and they're still, the issues they're having are not associated with HIV. So we supposed to be HIV support groups. We rarely talk about HIV at all. We talk about life, living, getting older, all the other complications. Now there are complications, so don't think, I can just get HIV. There are complications because this long-term use of these pills has corroded many of my organs. Like for a while, I was on something called Truvada. Started the Truvada, and I lost 50% of my kidney function. For some reason, the doctors at the hospitals I was going to would not say that it was Truvada. But for some reason, the doctors immediately took me off Truvada the same day, and there was no more damage to my kidneys. They say it's from one of the other things. I have high blood pressure and basically all the organs between the dope and these harsh drugs, a lot of the early drugs, a lot of my organs have been damaged from that, and that's why I'm disabled. I mean, I'm healthy enough to walk around, but there's definitely been an effect. But like I said, these guys are in the 60s, 70s. I never plan to live forever, you know. So we seem like we're living pretty full lives. Now, the longer you live, the more you contact other things, though. I mean, people deal with cancer. But that's a horrible disease. With it's not treated nearly as they're not. Your chances are much better with HIV, that's for sure, than it is with cancer or some of these aggressive diseases you can get. So people get exposed to other things, but it seems like they're pretty much the normal things people are exposed to. So anyway, I thought I'd give an update about what it's like living with HIV for 30 years, 31 years. And I'm still relatively healthy. I mean, I'm not healthy where I can go out and just work full time. That would exhaust me, you know. But in my retirement, I got to do this. I can be comfortable, live normally, as long as I take care of myself. And I do see doctors regularly and stuff like that. You know, it's just a matter of you have to take care of yourself, and you live. So. Okay, I don't want to be no whining soul, but I think it's important to know the truth about things. People try to manipulate people with the truth. So, in my mind, this is a manageable disease now, but you have to take care of yourself. There is one exception. I say that a lot of people that I know are HIV. Mainly because I work in an agency where we're all HIV positive people. So. And most of them are not suffering. Even when they get sick, it's not HIV. It's something else. It's the regular things that happen in life. But the only exception is I know a lot of people from the streets. A lot of people used to deal, live, hang out in Tenderloin. And sometimes I see some of my old friends, the ones that are still around, and see they're not taking care of themselves. So you really have to make a full-time job out of taking care of yourself. So people are still dying, but I think a lot of that is because of drugs, homelessness, people with mental issues, other issues that keep them from taking care of their bodies and getting the right health care and so forth. Mainly the people I know, you know, it was drugs. So stay off drugs. There's hope for you. You have a full life. Full life expectancy. So I'm in my 60th year now. So praise the Lord. Okay, we're in agreement then. Okay, people, have a good Wednesday.